You have stated before that every human vocal channeler has certain filters in place that may warp the incoming information to some degree. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. Every channel contains filters. It is simply based already in the idea of going to a translator. That alone means fundamentally you are not speaking to us directly. There are, coming from that point of view, always filters. If you were speaking to me in person, you would have 100% certainty you are speaking to us and receive the message unfiltered, even though your own belief systems may filter the information as it is coming in and warp it into something else.
Okay.
When we're focusing on the example of vocal channeling in this case, the information will come through a series of filters. First, higher self of the channel, first filter, needs to be there, it's the only front door. And then the persona self, which picks the words that must be in the library of the channel of the translator. Now, there can be exceptions to this. There are some incidents where phonetically new words can be received and translated, such as you may observe also in the idea of transmitting light languages. But those exceptions aside, the information as it comes through in your version of reality will be filtered by, first of all, usually the vocal library of the channeler, and then, very important and absolutely crucial for the flowing through of certain messages, the belief system filters of the channel too. Specifically when you are looking at a conscious channel, or those that are consciously aware of the picking of the wordings for the transmitting of the concepts being offered. When there is, for instance, a certain insecurity about a specific subject, it may be that even if we send information marked as A to a person to translate into your dimensional reality, it comes out as information marked as B. Different of coloration, different of content, because through the belief system filter of the translator, the original concept could not be completely accepted or embraced. And remember, every single channeler is also always constantly in the process of getting to know themselves better, using the co-creational dance with us too as a mirror if they wish. The idea is that that invitation is actively always in the background. They get to learn from the co-creational dance we initiate with them as much as, or in some cases even more than, those that are listening to these type of transmissions. Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
How would you be able to tell if a channel is speaking from a persona self filter rather than translating the higher frequency entity that they say to be channeling?
You might be able to tell that from an inner knowing, by listening to yourself, by getting to know yourself better. But also you may not be able to tell that perhaps right away or in all instances. Since the idea of listening to this type of information for most people is connected to the desire to get to know themselves better, there is an innate willingness to expand their awareness and to expand their understanding of existence, you could say, to remember their own connection to source. As they evolve down that path of getting to know themselves better, they may also discover that along the way, information that first appeared 100% pure now suddenly begins to feel a little bit more out of alignment, perhaps now and then, perhaps suddenly as a constant. The idea is that when this happens, they are offering themselves from their own higher selves point of view a little tap on the shoulder, you could say, that there must be more than the source that are in the physical reality through this translator they're now choosing to still focus upon. So in other words, you're showing yourself a threshold and you're reminding yourself of the fact that there is always more. And in a subtle way, you could say, and sometimes in a hard way, depends on how people choose to manifest this for themselves. It simply means you have outgrown this source and you are ready for a new step in your life, a new journey, whatever that may be for you. And this often will then also reveal to you whether there was potentially a codependency or low vibrational kind of attachment to this source or this speaker, so to say, in your reality, because that's then almost immediately what will come up next, you see. When you discover, wait a minute, this is no longer completely aligning with me as I know myself to be right now in this here and now moment. How do I feel about that? To what degree do I allow myself to then just move on? Or to what degree can I allow myself to continue to tune in with this information and just shift and sort through it effortlessly without judging it negatively and take from it what serves me and leave the rest behind?
Yes, very clear.
Oh, thank you.
I believe you already partly answered the next question, but I will just do it anyway.
All right.
Is it possible for a channel to share high quality unfiltered content in one moment and heavily filtered content the next? Like it going up and down a bit? And if so, what could be the cause of that?
All right. Well, the cause, quote unquote, could be that the channeler in question is reflecting to those observing them speak certain situations or issues or themes, better said, that they are still in the process of integrating. So say you listen to a teacher and you feel all of the information is in full alignment with who you choose to know yourself to be in this here and now. All of it but one topic. Every single moment they speak of, say, for example, sexuality. They become very judgmental or choose to warp the narrative into a certain direction so that you will perhaps start to think in that way too. So you can feel the manipulation, you can feel the bending. The neutrality is gone, let's put it that way. There's no neutrality there. The moment you feel there is speaking of you must do such and such, the moment you feel there are sentences or exclamations, statements being marked that go such and such must happen or else. So when it starts to sound like, in a way, manipulation or kind of a threat, this would be what we consider to be a red flag. Pay attention. And then the cause of that might be that they're processing, they're not at peace, they're not in a neutral zone, clearly, obviously, about that subject for themselves. And if there's a heavy leaning towards one direction regarding a certain topic, it just shows you there is a fear, usually, that to them as a person prevents them, if they're choosing to give it that much momentum in their belief system as they may, that seems to prevent them from taking a more neutral stance. And if you are in attunement with your heart and gut, this is very much often something that is picked up by the belly and the heart before you register it consciously in your mind, then you may become more consciously aware on all levels, holistically, that what that person is moving through is a process that hasn't been fully integrated just yet. And whenever that is the case for any human being, we, from our dimensional energy frequency, can offer answers all we like, but they'll come out a very different color.
All right, yes.
You see.
Next question.
All right.
Would it also be possible for a channel who has been really outstanding when it comes to their quality level throughout their career to suddenly experience dip in quality, even feel forced to stop channeling entirely?
Yes. Well, the first part of that question is kind of a repetition of the last one.
Yes.
And the dips then, yes, can be explained. Like we said before, there may be simply one topic that they're not very neutral about. And then every time that gets touched upon, it will come from a very different energy frequency. And those sensitive to it will pick it up. It will stand out to them. And then the rest may still be very harmonious and very clear cut in that sense. And in alignment and coming through openly, because there's nothing obstructed, so to speak. And then the second half, would it be possible that they feel forced to stop channeling? It would be up to them. Because even though there are instances, because it has happened, we can say, in what you understand to be the past, that we were the ones taking the initiative to stop connecting as interactively as we may have before with certain people that were previously translating our information or the gifts that we are enthusiastic about offering to all of you. Even though we have stepped back in certain instances, it is still up to the persona self to acknowledge that that is even the case. So feeling forced to stop channeling is a decision that is made on the persona self level. You see, we can't force you to do anything, to translate for us what it is that we are joyfully enthusiastic about sharing, or to stop doing that. There can be sometimes for certain channelers codependent attachments to the picture that they have created of themselves being a channeler to begin with. And this loops back again to what we said earlier about the entire channeling journey being an ongoing learning process, a mirroring process for the person who is choosing to channel themselves. It is something they create in their version of reality, even though the connection is a genuine connection in most occasions. They use it also as a tool to get to know themselves better. So if it becomes a crutch more than a tool, then you are in a whole different ball game. But any attentive listener will pick up on that if they are ready to do so. You see?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yes.
All right.
Would it bother you if a channel would be sort of not as open anymore as before?
No, it would be interesting.
All right, yes.
To us, you have our absolutely unending curiosity when it comes to how you play out these games of seeming limitation. This is why we refer to you also colloquially as masters of limitations. And when that happens, it just offers us more, because remember, all of this is a two-way stream. It offers us also a mirror to grow from and get to know ourselves better by. You see?
Yes.
So we would certainly not be bothered or judge it in a negative way. All of these type of adventures are ongoing, growing streams of expansion. Even when a person chooses to shield themselves to some degree, or even to a large degree, of the pure intent and actual quote-unquote information that we offer, then too we honor and respect your free will, and we see beyond these circumstances the gifts that it may hold for them to move through such an episode, and how they might, if they choose to, come out of that on the other end, so to speak, much wiser and with a deepened realization of what it actually means to truly be in a telepathic communication with anyone, us or amongst yourselves. It's all very exciting.
I see, yes. Clear.
All right.
Yes.